Are there ways to skirt around that problem, though, of the fear of, you know, having your work?
I believe so. I think that's where creating smaller, lower entry points to your work is, because if somebody's buying your artwork in traffic, it means that there's a market for it. So why not create other pieces that, you know, you're not going to sell for 20M, for example, that can, you know, you give to the local vendor to sell for you, because obviously if somebody's buying a fake, they'll probably buy the original, and that way the money comes to you, you keep your IP. It's a win-win as far as I see it. But
almost like what designers do with their clothes, where they have like a low-end mass production, and then okay. But I don't know how that should be interesting if it's possible to have like a mass.
It's possible, just that just very few artists that will actually allow it. Yeah. Some produce a piece and they keep the original, and then they go out and make prints, affordable prints for people. So yeah, that happens, but rarely.
Do you also find that that's probably a problem? Artists tend to be very, you know, in their world, like, it's my work, nobody should have it, and it must be this one. Do you think that's a problem? Like, a lot of artists don't think commercial enough.
I agree with you. And I mean, I don't think they should have to, because what they're good at is their artwork, their talent, and that's where other people come in, like, you know, getting a manager, going to a gallerist, because they understand the business side of art, which, you know, you might not understand and you might not want to, and even if you did understand, you might not be very good at, so why not just let somebody who does do the work for you?
Yeah. Do you paint? Are you an artist?
Yes.
What do you do exactly?
Mostly illustrations, but right now I'm a curator, so I manage artists and I plan exhibitions.
Okay. And you?
I am a creative consultant, so it's what I was just talking about. So I tell people about the business side of their work and how they can, you know, sell themselves, as it were.
Do you paint at all, or?
I wish I could, but unfortunately.
Me too. I'm terrible at it. I was going to ask, is this something you can learn?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Trust me, I tried.
Yes. No, not.
I was terrible at it.
It's easier now. It's easier now. Then it was mostly traditional art, so it's painting, sculpture. You basically need to have it in you. But now it's more about passion. If it's something you really want to do, people are learning. And then there's new media, there's mixed media. So like I said, people are mixing things. People are just expressing themselves anyhow they feel they can. So it works.
Well, with the learning part, possibly, because I think of Benin now. Like I said, I was born in Benin, and I know it's probably one of the most famous places in Nigeria for their sculptures around the world. And, you know, it's been passed on from generation. So I don't know if it's something that's genetic, or they were taught, sorry, you know, parents teach their children as they grow. So it's possible that you can learn it, maybe.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe you do have a point there. But do you find that art is actually lucrative? And I'm saying that on a mass level. I mean, I know there are a few artists who are very rich, who sell a few paintings and can go to rest for 2 years. But do you find that on a general level, do you find that it's a lucrative business to be in?
Honestly, I would say no. But then I don't believe that culture can necessarily be lucrative just by the very nature of it. That I don't believe you create culture, you create art for the money. Yeah, sure, you should be able to earn a living off what you do, but unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast that it's not the business that we're in.
Do you agree?
Well, we find that as much as they can paint and do all that, they still branch out to animation because they feel that's where the money is. So they're doing more digital work than the actual work, what they actually know. But we still find out that traditional work like drawing is like the basic of art education in the first place, so they still come back to it, but some people actually find a way to fuse everything. And
is it possible to break I'm very interested in Nigeria now because, okay, let's say I have a younger brother who's starting off life 21 and he's a wonderful artist and he says this is what I want to do for a living. What sort of things should I be telling him to look at? I mean, looking at from the business side of things now to say, okay, this is where you should do, this is where you should go through, this is what you should do to make a living off of this. What are the things he needs to know?
He needs to know that it's possible to collaborate with people and be successful. So that's my advice. Like, so, you know, he'll have friends that are musicians who are releasing album, do an album cover. Some of the most iconic albums that we think about. So I'm thinking about Nirvana I'm thinking about Fela Kuti's albums. They're iconic because of the work that was on them, and those people are actual artists in their own right. So collaborate with somebody. They might not give you money, but you can work out a deal where maybe you get commission from every album that they do. If your friend is decorating an apartment and, you know, for example, I have an uncle who's building a new house and he's like, oh, I need some art for my walls. I'll definitely introduce him to my friends and say, you know, she paints, have a look at her work, see what you feel. So talk to people about your work. Yeah, like make connections vertically. I think there's always the real drive to make a connection horizontally. So you want to meet the CEO of a company to sponsor you, but at the end of the day, he doesn't know who you are. And those kinds of relationships are built on trust, which you won't have. But somebody who's, you know, your age, your generation, you're more likely to find touch points of connection. And then also when they become CEOs, they'll probably remember you and say, yeah, I remember him. Like, he was really good. Like, what's he up to? I'll Google him. You know, maybe he has money for an exhibition. Maybe he has like a house he wants to decorate. Maybe he wants to buy a painting and he remembers, you know, his friend that when he was 21, he saw his really cool work. So yeah, that's what I would say.
On a final note now, just before we go, are there parts of art that are more lucrative than the other? I don't think that's the question makes any sense.
From my point of view, and then I'll let Winifred answer,
yeah.
I would say maybe the big pieces by fine artists, so they're the ones that you see going for like millions of naira. Yeah.
I know, I think I heard about a Nigerian artwork. I think it was a sculpture, a group of sculptures that went for about £300,000 or something in the UK. Ben something. Yeah. I was like, okay, I can retire now. That was a lot of money. Well, thank you very much for coming here today. Like I said, maybe when I make more money, I'd appreciate art a lot more. But I mean, I like going to galleries. I think it's fun to just look at and be like, wow, I wish I could do this. That's mostly what I feel when I go to galleries. But thanks for being here today. Hopefully some people have been inspired to continue to follow their dreams. And we'll have you back again soon enough. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more. Please stay with us.